had the timeout left. You know, Jake's experienced enough. He knows that we don't really want to use it unless we have to. Now it got to the point where we had to, and he was a little late calling it. So he was trying to do the right thing. And this early in the year, when those situations come up in the game, even though we've practiced them a couple times, we didn't practice all the stuff that happened tonight in this game. We haven't gotten to that point yet. You gotta have a couple breaks. You don't get the timeout and they get the ball. Now it's their advantage again. And Seth made a good read on his own and turned it and got that inbounds pass.
Coach, playing a game like this on November 14th, what's that like?
It's a good question. I knew it was going to be a competitive game and a good game. You know, they've played 2 road games already, and they really haven't made any shots to speak of. You know, the shooting percentage has been way down, and it's a team that last year won 19 games, and as we know, they've got their entire group back, so they know their stuff, they run their stuff well, and when they got open a couple times in the first 5 minutes, and they made a couple, I knew it was going to be a close competitive game. Now we missed on some scouting report things in the first half. At the same time, they're a good team, they're an experienced team, and they're well coached, so they got some stuff done, and so we had to make a lot of plays to be there. I didn't feel like we should have been ahead at halftime. The way the game was going and the way that Toledo had played, I didn't feel like we should have had the lead. Now, a lot of the reason we had the lead was because of what Dion was doing on his own. But we knew going into the game that they're a good team and they're an experienced team. And if things got going in their direction a little bit, that it was going to be a very competitive game.
Is there anything you tell your team when the other team's hitting shots off balance, crazy shots like that?
I think they maybe hit a couple of those, but they also ran their stuff well, and they found the right guys, and they did a good job of getting the ball where they wanted to, and a good job of the right guys taking shots that they practiced. So I think they deserve credit for a lot of that. Oftentimes when that happens, then you're going to throw one in, on your heels or covered. So we need to look at it, and we need to work to defend better. There was probably some situations where we defended pretty well, but overall, we need to take a hard look at it. We're going to have to get a lot better defensively between now and Saturday.
The last 10 minutes or so, I think you went with the same 5. Was there any kind of thoughts to switch things up at all, especially with O'Hannon kind of off on his shot a little bit tonight?
Yeah, that's the other part with being this early in the year. And for the most part, other than Chip, those guys that were coming in off the bench, Morrison's got a little bit of experience from last year. Nate and Marv really don't have any game experience to speak of. In that situation, to just keep rolling guys in and out of there, we're not to that point yet. I like what those guys have done in practice, and I like the way that our team is moving, and I do think we're going to have good depth, but that felt to me like a situation where we needed to play our most experienced guys, and then Bohannon had been in the game the most, so he was moving around, and I don't worry about whether he makes his first couple or misses his first couple. He's going to make shots. He really shoots it, and he works very hard. He's always prepared. So his playing or not playing will never be determined on whether he makes a couple or misses a couple. And he made that big one later in the game. But more just a feel of we got to have our most experienced guys, and then Bo had been in there the most, so we let him play. And I thought he did a decent job.
Coach, talking about the bench, you played 9 total guys tonight. Do you feel like they've taken a step forward in defining the rotation a little bit, or where do you think that's?
Yeah, not so much that way, I guess. We know what our starting unit's going to be. We know Chip is playing very well. Matt Morrison's got a little experience, and then that next, Austin obviously has some experience. But then those other 3 or 4 guys, we're still defining those roles. So I think that's going to take a little while. I like what the guys have done. Because they didn't play a lot of minutes tonight, or it didn't look like they were in the rotation, not an indication of how they practiced or where I see them. This game dictated that I play the guys that we played, and so it worked out that way tonight.
And then given the small amount of minutes off the bench, concern at all about only 7 points between those 4 guys off the bench?
No, I think with Nate and Chip and in particular, and Matt Morrison and a couple of other guys, they'll be fine from a scoring standpoint.
What about the game Dion had? Is that something you kind of expected from me before the season started? You said you expected big things from him.
Yeah, he's it's been talked about. I've talked about it. He's prepared himself very well, and we saw that again tonight. We've seen it in all 4 games now, and he did it tonight against a good team and against, for the most part, experienced guards. Their point guards are sophomores as well, but he played minutes like Dion did last year. And he got, boy, that stretch in the first half was impressive. And that's where our team is. This team is built for the transition game offensively, and Dion having the ball. Ball screen actions are good for us. Anything we can do to get him freed up just a little, just get him a little bit of daylight, he's going to make good plays. Some nights he's going to score a lot. Some nights he's going to find guys. He's going to end up with 7, 8, 9, 10 assists. So really like what he's doing, but it's all because he's prepared.
32 free throws plus 22 in that margin. How important was that tonight?
Yeah, I thought that was very important, and I think that's probably why we were ahead at halftime. They had done a very good job running their stuff and making shots and playing well. We did a good job of getting it inside, either with the pass or with the dribble, and getting to the free throw line. So we had that lead at half. That bonus and double bonus as you're going down the first half. Certainly in the second half, when you go to that line in a close game, it's nice to know you're going to be shooting 2 earlier in that second half. So yeah, that was an important aspect, Coach.
It seemed like in the second half, Coach, that Toledo made some adjustments in kind of taking away Dion's penetration a little bit. And then it seemed like the offense would maybe go a little bit stagnant in periods out of the second half and overtime. 11 to 30 from the field in the second half and overtime combined there. Is that any concern at all about that lack of offensive execution? Or is this an example of film that you can go back and watch and correct?
Yeah, part of the reason we didn't have as much going with Dion, I didn't call his number as much as I should have in the second half, and that's on me to make sure that we're doing the things that our team can have success with, and so that was part of it. Then I also felt like we made some good plays and we pitched it to guys and they had good looks and did make some. We had a couple that were in around the basket. That didn't go for us, and then it's early. As you know, right? It's early. It's early in the year. We're going to have, I'd like to have our offense, smoking on all levels. Everything we're doing, and everything we're trying, and as soon as they do something, we quick go to an adjustment, and it's early. So I give our guys credit for staying in there and making enough plays to get to overtime, and then getting a win.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, John. Thank you.